Hola y bienvenidos al repaso del presente de indicativo. Soy señora Stanias. Hello and welcome to the review of the present indicative in Spanish. As you listen to this podcast, make sure that you are taking notes to help you as you go throughout this upcoming year. We're starting with the present indicative tense in Spanish, and we're reviewing how we form this tense. Our Spanish subjects are first. We have the singular, yo, tú, usted, él, and ella. Our plural subjects are nosotros or nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, if we're in Spain, ustedes, ellos, and ellas. All right, here we are. Here are your AR verb endings. I have listed them along with their subject pronouns. So, o, as, a, amos, ais, an. Your ER verb endings, o, es, e, hemos, eis, en. Your IR verb endings, o, es, e, imos, is, en. Make sure you note in all of the vosotras, vosotros forms, there is an accent. That is the only time in the present tense. So how do we do this? Once again, we must remember when we're conjugating, you find the stem, you remove the AR, ER, or IR ending, that's infinitive ending, and then you replace with the appropriate ending that matches the subject, what you're trying to say. For example, I want to say, I speak. I know my verb, and the infinitive is hablar. Take off the AR, put on the O because I wanted to say I. Yo hablo. Here we are, some practice for you. This is where you might want to pause, and you can, in your notebooks, write down the correct way to say all of these different, which will become sentences. So I drink, you walk, you, being polite, pay. He speaks, she writes. We dance, or we eat. You all live, or you all girls study. You all take, they watch, they, girls, run. Once you've stopped and you've written down what you believe are your right answers, you may go to the next slide, and here you are. Check your answers. See how you did. Now we're going to move on to irregulars. Here they are. These mean that they don't follow those rules that we just went over. These are the most common and ones that are really important that you remember. So, ser, yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos, ellas, ustedes son. Ir, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. Dar, doy, das, da, damos, dais, dan. Estar, estoy, estás, está. Estamos, estáis, están. Notice the accents with estar. That's really important. Tener, tengo, tienes, tiene. Tenemos, tenéis, tienen. Again, pause as you need if you're going to be taking notes on any of this information. Tener is another special verb. It's part of those go verbs that we talk about. Go verbs are those verbs that are irregular only in the yo form. Here are some other common go verbs. You have hacer, which is to make or to do, poner, to put, traer, to bring, salir, to go out or to leave. Notice it's only in that yo form. Otherwise, they follow the same rules as mentioned earlier. A couple other irregulars we need to remember. Both saber and conocer both mean to know. Saber is to know facts or information. Conocer, to be familiar with or to be acquainted with. So, and you'll notice the differences. These are also differences in the yo form. So yo sé with an accent. Yo conozco. So yo sé la información, but yo conozco la ciudad de Madrid. We have to go over our boot verbs once again. Remember that these boot verbs have changes. There's kind of 3 different ways they can change. There can be a spelling change from E to IE, a spelling from O to UE, or from E to I. and make the switch when you're using these boot verbs. But remember, you do not switch, so you don't do the stem change in nosotros or in the vosotros form. So you'll conjugate appropriately. Empezar is one of them. Oftentimes you'll now see in dictionaries in our books that we use that they'll have that in parentheses after the verb. That tells you it's a boot verb. And then you just have to start remembering those ones that we use over and over again, like empezar. So ella empieza, but vosotros empezáis. Dormir, nosotros dormimos, but ellos duermen. Again, we just kind of have to practice these and remember them. These are some of the common ones. Most of these we've been exposed to over the last 2 to 3 years. So empezar, to begin. Perder, to lose. Comenzar is also to begin, commence. Querer, to want. Preferir, to prefer. Pedir, to order or to ask for. Dormir, to sleep. Jugar, to play. Poder, to be able to, and volver, to return. Once again, I'd like you to try a little bit of practice, so pause here and write these in your notes, go through them. You want to say, I begin, you lost, you want, he is able to or he can, she sleeps, we begin, you all play, you all return, they prefer, or they return. There are your answers. Once you have them, check them over. Hopefully this was a really easy activity for you, and these are all kind of starting to sound like, oh yeah, I remember how we did this. I want to take a couple seconds here to talk about the present progressive. Remember that the present progressive is the ing in English. We have to use 2 verbs, 2 parts to the present progressive in Spanish, just like in English. We have to first take the present tense form of estar, and then we have to create a present participle. That's that ing in English. To make a present participle, you take off the AR on an AR verb and add ando. For an ER or IR verb, you add yendo. A couple of regulars are leer, where it's leyendo with a Y, or traer, trayendo with a Y. There are others that are like that. That's just a couple of examples. Remember that we use the present progressive to talk about something that is currently taking place. I do want you to note, however, that we use it more in English than in Spanish. So just kind of keep that in mind. But this is another way to say you are doing something. Like I am walking. Yo estoy caminando. Once again, here's a quick practice. I'm going to speak really for about 10 seconds telling you I want you to write these in Spanish, full sentences using estar and that present participle. And then you'll see once you have them in your notes, here they are. Hopefully, once again, this was a really quick, easy review for you. If you do have any questions, again, make sure that you're stopping, you're rewinding, write down any questions that you do have, and we will go over them in class. And there you are. I hope this has helped clear out some of those cobwebs after the summer. Muchas gracias y hasta mañana.